It's Monday, I got stuff to do, which means, of course, a trailer dropped. I won't spend too much time complaining about it. I'll just get right to it. And I'm not going to do it the way I did the Venom one, because part of the reason I did that one the way that I did was hoping that it would keep Sony from being jerks about it if I broke it up that way. It didn't. They claimed it anyway. Doing it that way is a heck of a lot more work. Marvel and Disney are usually more laid back about not doing nonsense copyright claims on stuff, but we do have a new trailer from Marvel for Thunderbolts asterisk. I don't know how we're supposed to say this. Thunderbolts footnote. The asterisk at the end of it is part of the title. Anyways, let's take a look at this thing. My current status on Marvel is I'd like to like it again. That's just where I'm at. Let's see what we got. Well, now hold it right there. I spoke too soon when I said Disney and Marvel are usually not jerks about this, because when I tried to upload this to YouTube, it wasn't just copyright claimed, it was blocked, which is a first for Disney and Marvel related stuff for me. I'm still going to put this up because I had a lot of thoughts afterwards. Sometimes I just have a few thoughts. I have enough that I want to share anyway. So here's a couple of the basics that you can know and be able to understand what I'm talking about. The trailer doesn't go into much plot detail. It's mostly covering the characters who are going to be in it. Those being Yelena Belova, the Red Guardian, Bucky Barnes, John Walker, the Taskmaster, Ghost, whatever character Julia Louis-Dreyfus is playing, and some guy named Bob. We know they're all going to be brought together. Beyond that, not a lot to go off of other than just the sense of action. But that'll be enough for me to give the rest of my thoughts. Blame Disney for not getting to see my reaction in real time. The jackasses. Okay, so that's almost a bit more of a mood board of a trailer than like giving us much sense of plot, establishing who's going to be in it, the feel of the action, a little bit of overall tone, not really telling us why they pulled together beyond just the sense of, oh, they kind of have a similar thing. Like I said, I'm real curious about what they're going to do with John Walker specifically, because compared to the rest of them, I don't want to say he's a problem. I'd actually say he's an opportunity, but he's an opportunity that could be botched. Here's what I mean by that. Everybody else there either isn't really a villain, is in their own way a hero who is just more brutal than the heroes are usually preferred to be, or their villainy was in some way mitigated by something. In the case of Taskmaster, trying to say that fast is a pain in the butt. In the case of Taskmaster, she was effectively brainwashed. In the case of Ghost, she was not trying to cause massive damage. She was just trying to fix her own condition. And unfortunately, it put her into conflict with the heroes. So you've got characters like that. And obviously, Bucky hasn't been the Winter Soldier for freaking ages. Bucky has been an outright hero for a while. But yeah, he still has a shady, bad history. You compare those to John Walker, aka US Agent. He's a different thing because his problems and why he's a bad guy weren't forced by circumstance. And while he probably, part of him thinks that he was doing the right thing, he was wrong. He was wrong. And I'm one of those people that have argued that him at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier helping out Sam was not a redemption, just the start at most, but I don't even really want it to be that. What that was him trying to placate himself. You know, him helping at the very end after initially trying to attack Sam again. Him helping at the very end was him having some line that he thinks, okay, if I am a good guy and he thinks he is, then this is what I should do. But he's still a bad guy. He was not redeemed by that. And I think the worst thing this movie could do is treat him the same as everybody else there. And he's not. He needs to be the problem on the team. He needs to be the one who is the most misguided by actual intent, not by lack of information, not by lack of, I decorum, like somebody like Alexei is, but like he needs to be a legitimate problem. Because if he's not, then you've done the thing that I have up to now been claiming you didn't do and hoping you would never do, which is to just go, yeah, he's just more or less a hero now. Like, no. Like, I made the argument that at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there were some people really ticked off that, like, he was getting another shot. To me, that felt appropriate because guys like him, because, like, let's not forget that he had a real Brett Kavanaugh moment when he was being interrogated about what it was he did. But guys like him tend to just get away with stuff. Even if they don't get what they want initially, they get a second shot. They get to just continue being what they're going to be. That, I read that as that is supposed to feel wrong. That is supposed to feel like a miscarriage. And if we just go into it and he just integrates into the team the same as anybody else, and we don't deal with who he is as a person, that, again, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to have somebody whose problems are different from everybody else's, because everybody else had some kind of extenuating circumstance or things that weren't their fault necessarily. Whether it be Yelena and Alexei being, brought up and trained in a way of thinking in a country that doesn't even exist anymore, or the stuff that I've talked about with all the rest of them. He's not the same as them. So if the movie takes advantage of that, it could be really fascinating. If it doesn't, and it treats him just like everybody else, that's gonna be a problem. And I know I focused a lot on John Walker, but the thing is, there isn't that much for me to talk about other than to just go, oh, look at all these characters together. I could have sworn Zemo was in this. Did I misremember that, or did I just assume he would be because it makes sense? I don't know. I really thought Zemo was going to show up in this. Zemo also would have been an interesting addition, especially given what happened with him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, that could have been really interesting to carry on with him. And I actually think what was being done with him was, I think what's been done with Zemo overall in the MCU is actually pretty fascinating. And I'm a little annoyed that he hasn't shown up again since then. For all the stuff that we've had. This is Marvel's problem with oversaturation. Like, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be complaining that we haven't seen him again, except they've put out so much stuff. And I'm like, you couldn't spare a little bit for this really interesting take on a character? And Bob, I don't know what the deal with Bob is. Since I've already had to manually edit, I'll note this here as well. I now know who Bob is. I found out while going to look for a picture to use as an insert in the earlier bit where I jumped in from the edit. I'm not going to say who it is because the trailer doesn't, although it hints at it a little bit. So anyone who's avoiding that, I'm not going to spoil you since the trailer itself doesn't, and I'll just leave my wrong speculative little tangent that you're about to see. Have fun. My first guess was Bob, Agent of Hydra, which has kind of been nodded to elsewhere. That was nodded to in the first Deadpool as well. But the other thing is that, like, it really looks like there's going to be more with him. I'm sure other people are going to speculate and have probably already figured out who the heck he's supposed to be. Fine. Cool. Have your fun with that. I'm not really into doing that. But it was just kind of fun having a guy there's like, I'm Bob, like, just as a presence. That's nice. I like that it looks like it's going to primarily have Yelena front and center as the closest to a lead character out of this ensemble team. I think that's a good call. Florence Pugh really handles that character very well, and I find her both interesting and entertaining. So it's got a solid foundation and solid building blocks. There's some real pit traps, though, that if they avoid, this could be really good. I don't know if I trust current era Marvel to avoid them, though. I don't know. We'll find out. What do you think of this trailer? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. Those all help me out. I was going to have a review for the premiere episode of the Penguin series out today. I guess that'll be tomorrow now, because today's this. But in any case, thank you very much. Don't worry too much about supporting me in the various ways, although I do appreciate it. What I want you to remember is that we just take a relaxed attitude around here. So you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Goddess Elida, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Oliver B., Melinda Pedersen, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Jean Foray, Movie Turtle, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Melinda Walters, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Frenobulax the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperel, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Adam R. D.L. Taylor, Palba Rabajoggle, Mira G, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. If you're wondering about this little guy, this is Nymph. He's new. Don't worry, the other two are fine. He's just not fully socialized with them yet. You'll see them all together soon. Won't they? I say, well.